So we're here tonight for the first film club. I am sorry if it's a bit rough around the edges. I've never done this before, and I'm really bad at talking to a camera, but hopefully it'll be fun. As much interaction from you guys as possible is the entire point. I hope that you liked our choice this week, or if you didn't, that you've got reasons to back that up. This week, the country was England, our home country, and we chose the brilliant 2004 cult classic Shaun of the Dead. We have got on the episode this week, we have some questions of yours and of ours answered by the amazing Simon Pegg, who co-wrote and stars in the film, and is an all-round brilliant guy. Yes, someone just noticed the Distraction Tactics t-shirt, which I didn't realise would be the wrong way around. So thank you all very, very much for joining. We're going to start, just to make me feel a little bit more ridiculous, with the jingle that I made in about 5 seconds earlier. So get ready for the opening credits of Distraction Tactics. I'm so nervous about this. Oh, jeez. All right.
Distraction tactics, distraction tactics, distraction tactics, film club. Distraction tactics, distraction tactics, distraction tactics, film club. While we all self-isolate, watch some films, then we'll debate. Distraction tactics, distraction tactics, distraction tactics, film club.
All right, cool. I'm glad we got that out of the way. That's the next Bastille single. No, it's not. Right, welcome to Distraction Tactics. So we sent some questions to Simon Pegg, who stars in and co-wrote Shaun of the Dead, our film of the week, and he very kindly answered them for us. So we're going to play them to you now. So the first question was this one. Technical error. So, all right.
Hello from my office. The first question is, when did you last rewatch the film and how did it feel seeing it again? I watched it on Halloween last year with my daughter, who'd never seen it before. She's 10, still a bit young to see it, but because it's me and she's very aware of the artificiality of it, having grown up around film sets, she was okay with it, even the evisceration moment. And then she decided to go as Shaun for Halloween as well, which was amazing. And she looked brilliant. And it was very disconcerting because she just looked like a small me, which she does anyway. But my face seems to work on a young girl. That sounded odd. The goatee beard really brought it home.
Thank you, Simon, to our Simon correspondent there. Yeah, no, I'm really interested to know what you guys think about the film. We love it. It's it's a kind of British staple. When we were younger and it came out, it followed Spaced, which was a TV show that the same team made. And it's brilliant. I'm a big horror fan, but we'll get more into that later. Let's go to another question and answer for Simon.
Edgar and I write together in an office opposite each other, and that's how we've always done it. We've done all 3 films like that. We tend to start with a flip chart with all the ideas, come up with a rough structure for the film, and then specify. So it starts very broad in terms of broad strokes, and then it gets more and more, the minutiae becomes more and more sort of the thing, and we're always together, and we chat and we laugh and we fight, and it's always a good process. I like working with Edgar. He's a smart kid. I still think he's a kid, even though he's old now.
So obviously that question was about the writing process with Edgar Wright. I can't imagine writing a film with someone, but it's a guy called Kyle Simmons. He is from a band called Bastille, and I'm going to ask him to join us for the chat. Where is he at? the soundtrack. This is a song by the Specials, Ghost Town. Oh, look who it is! Look who it is!
Oh, hey guys.
How you doing?
Wait, we have to speak about your jingle. Oh my god.
Yeah.
One of your greatest writing achievements was that jingle. Oh my god.
Thanks very much.
I
I'll take
loved
that.
it.
I'll take that. Yeah, it's, you know, when you have a short amount of time, you've got to throw something together.
It was a success. It was a
Thanks.
goddamn success.
Thank
So
you from you. How are you doing?
yeah, doing pretty well. It's kind of silly how like you kind of came up with this idea to do it, and on the first one,
Yeah,
Simon Pegg's answering questions.
I know. We're so lucky. I can't believe it.
It's insane. Yeah. So the film's great.
Yes, isn't it just? So when did you first see it?
Oh my! So when did it come out? 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I mean, not that long after that, because I was a fully grown man then. And I just remember, because I was always a huge fan, of sort of that, the trio, the sort of like
the trilogy, the Cornetto trilogy, right?
Well, yeah. Well, so before that,
All the
just
three of them.
just Edgar Wright, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg, and obviously Jessica Haynes Stevenson, Spaced and stuff like that, which I was obsessed with, and even as far back as like Big Train with Simon Pegg and stuff. So, you know, like a big old feature length thing. What an incredible!
It's a sign for you, mate.
Distraction Tactics.
Is it the right way around or is it the wrong way around?
It's the right way around.
I've been really sure, 'cause this one's definitely the wrong way around.
So hang on. Have you printed that sheet out backwards?
I might have done.
I love it.
There's a fair amount of time on our hands.
I love the effort. I love the effort.
I wanted to ask you some questions, seeing as you're our special guest, about films on the road. How do you watch films on tour? On the bus? I guess I'm about to answer the question for you, but you know,
that's kind of how it happens. It's either on the bus if we're traveling, or like a lot of the time, if we're lucky enough to, we'll get into a venue and we tour with a projector because we love film that much, and we just get into the dressing room. And some days the first thing we do is set up the projector, and then we watch whatever films we kind of decide on or we fight over.
This is true, and it's quite nice. It's quite on tour when things can be. It's a little bit like isolation in a way. I mean, it's nothing like it, but in terms of we're all kind of on top of each other, living in quite a small space, and often want to be far apart. But sometimes films can be a nice way to bring everybody together.
It's all about
I've got some questions from people who put questions in, and really badly, I didn't write down their names, so I've just got the question. But
okay, I'll make up the name.
What record would you never chuck at a zombie if one was coming at you, but you had to use it as a weapon, like in the film?
Which record would I never chuck?
Yeah.
Dre 2001.
Excellent choice. What would you chuck immediately?
Right away?
Yeah.
Oh god, that's so tough. It's mean to to bring up an album or an artist and go, I would throw your album away.
I know. Actually, we asked Simon that, and he basically gave the same answer, which is like that's the humane thing to say. I feel like I'm really waffling, so I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions, and I'm gonna let you go, and we'll go back to some more Simon. But if zombies were attacking you now, what one thing from your home would you use to kill them with?
Oh wow. I mean, like a baseball bat, I guess. It's quite like something that's a long way away. Or not a mic stand, that's even longer.
And musical as well. Have you mentioned you're in a band?
Sorry, Kyle, band, Bastille much? Yeah, I've got a mic stand in my house.
If Woody and Will were zombies, where would you lock them up so you could then go and hang out with them like Shaun does at the end of the film?
They're the worst two to be zombies because they're much stronger than we are.
I know. Yeah, they'd overpower us like that.
So yeah, I feel like I would just jump right in, get the hug, get the bite, and just join them.
Favorite character from the film?
Peter Serafinowicz.
Yeah, he's brilliant as a housemate, isn't he?
It's so good. It's like it's only a small part, but he's so perfect in it.
I'm trying to think, are there any more questions I could ask you? I mean, there's loads. Where would you go if the Winchester was closed?
Oh my lord. I don't know, like the top of the block of flats. Shaun's girlfriend, I probably would have stayed at hers.
Yeah. She's
And
got the raised platform.
I don't know why they left.
I know.
It seems insane, really.
Right, I feel like we want to keep this as brief as possible. Kyle, thank you for joining us on Distraction Tactics. Hopefully, we'll see you next week.
It was a pleasure. Don't forget to play the jingle before you
We'll
close
play it again. Right now, we're going to go back to some more questions from some more answers from Simon.
Enjoy it.
See you later, mate. Bye. Thank you, Kyle from Bastille, for joining us. Right, here's the next question and answer from Simon.
How do other countries react to it? Was there anywhere surprising outside of the UK that loved it? I kind of find a sort of global response to it, actually, which is always really lovely. I've been in the weirdest places and found fans of the film. I remember being in a gas station in Waco, Texas, in the middle of nowhere, and this guy went, "Hey man, Shaun of the Dead." It was in the Middle East somewhere, in the Emirates, and it was in a pizza place, and the little Arab guy behind the counter said, "Hey, Shaun likes pizza," which was really, really nice. And right through Asia and the Far East, China and Korea, Japan, it's amazing. It's really heartening that something like that, little movie like this, could reach so many people. It's the best possible outcome, the best praise you can get beyond box office, beyond reviews. It's nice.
Thank you, Simon, for that answer. Yeah, basically, he's at home in his office and very kindly sending us these responses. Basically, I wanted to ask him about the fact that quite a lot of you are living in different countries all around the world, and yeah, I'm wanting to sort of talk about how the film, how it would translate to an international audience, because I saw some comments from some of you guys who maybe struggled a bit with the British humour. I also then asked Simon about how he felt it kind of represented Britishness and British culture.
For our international fans, what do you think Shaun of the Dead says about British culture? Well, it kind of was supposed to be allegorical generally about human beings' capacity to ignore each other and step over people when they're dying in the street. The kind of lack of socialism, which feels like it's burgeoning at the moment in the midst of this bizarre crisis. Yeah, I think about the pub. The pub as the centre of British cultural sort of gatherings, and the slightly less dramatic approach to such an event. The idea for me and Edgar was that you always see in American zombie movies, it's always a SWAT team or with the exception of Night of the Living Dead, actually, the original seminal zombie movie. But you often follow kind of extraordinary people, whereas with Shaun, it was about the ordinary and about the sort of suburban drudgery of fighting zombies. So I guess that we're all lazy alcoholics.
And he is right. We are all lazy alcoholics. I can speak from personal experience. Thank you, Simon, from socially isolating, as we all are and should be, in his home. Right now, I'm going to bring somebody in called Charlotte, who we worked with last year on a play we did for our album. She's a massive film nerd, and I thought that she would be a brilliant person to help us put this together. And here she is. Hello, Charlotte. How are you doing?
Hello. I am so excited.
Oh, so am I. It's nice to have you. How are you doing? How's today been?
It's been great. It's been really exciting to talk about, because we're both film geeks. So
We are. Yes. Yeah. And what better film to talk about than Shaun of the Dead?
Absolutely. So
How did you enjoy rewatching it again this week?
Loved it. It kind of does what it says on the tin. But
Yeah.
Well, Stephen King, the novelist who wrote The Shining, said that he gave it 10 out of 10 on his Funometer. And so I wondered what you gave it score-wise on the Danometer.
Ooh, good question. I mean, I have such a huge soft spot for this film. I'm a massive horror fan and also loved Spaced and you know, everything that team created pre Shaun of the Dead. So I'm going to give it like maybe 11 zombies out of 10.
It sounds great. I'd be interested to hear what everyone else is thinking. Can you give it marks out of 10 for us?
Yeah, people at the bottom. Anyone watching?
And what I loved this week, looking at all the responses that you'd got in from questions that you put out. And so for next week, will you, when you leave questions for us, can you leave who you are and where you're from, and then we'll shout you out, because the questions were just fantastic.
Yeah, some really funny questions and some really good responses, and some, you know, some really positive and negative responses to the film, which I totally get, because it's obviously not everyone's cup of tea, but yeah. That's
one of the things that's really important to me as a film geek is the Bechdel Test, and
yes. The Bechdel Test. Do you want to explain to everybody what that is?
Yeah, so it's this test that's it's got 3 rules, really simple. First off, does the movie have 2 or more women in them? So often movies don't even have 2 or more women. Yeah. And do they have a name? That'd be nice to give them a name. But anyway, so they have a name, and are there 2 more women? Are they able to talk to each other alone? So do they have a conversation? And then this is the kicker. Do they have a conversation, but they're not talking about men? You'd be surprised how many don't. But
yeah, it's really interesting. It's like so many amazing films that, you know, looking back through the lens of that test, just don't cut it at all.
Films that are being made right now, not passing that test. That's
yeah.
Another
but Shaun of the Dead, how does it do?
Yes.
Yes. Come on, Shaun of the Dead. Right.
There's a really lovely scene with the mum, Barbara, talking to the ex on off girlfriend Liz, pub, when she confesses that she's got the bite, and she gives her a piece of jewelry. And there's something about the film that's there is a kind of emotional resonance that it just gives it this kind of comic book exciting feel, yeah, that I absolutely love. We're gonna have to move on in a sec. Is there anything big and important you feel we should cover? Line from the screenplay that I love as a screenwriter. I don't think I've got it in me to shoot my flatmate, my mum, and my girlfriend all in the same night. That's
such a brilliant line. And thank you to everybody who's watching and is commenting along the bottom. And yeah, feel free to post up your favourite other zombie films or English films, seeing as this week we're in England. Right, Charlotte, I feel like I've been waffling, so I think we're going to have to go back to a couple more questions from Shaun and then wrap things up. Thank you so much for everything, and we'll speak soon. Nice one. All right, how's everybody doing? You guys all right? We have a couple more questions from Simon. I asked him about what records he would throw out, and he was very polite about it. So I'm maybe give that one a miss. But he didn't want to say what records he'd throw at a zombie. Fair enough. But we then asked him this.
How close to your own lives at the time was the film based, and did it feel like you were making a cult classic? It was pretty close, apart from the zombies, obs. Nick and I were ensconced in a pub in Highgate called the Shepherds, which is now called the Boogaloo. It's a very good pub, actually. So when it reopens, if you're in North London, give it a visit. And Edgar was always trying to get us to leave. We didn't want to go into Soho and hang out with the glitterati. We just wanted to sit in this old man's boozer and watch TV and play the fruit machine. And my girlfriend at the time as well, Maureen, was very much in the same, although she didn't want to go into Soho, but she was like, why do we always have to go to this pub? Even though she became as much of a fixture there as we did. So yeah, that was a similar thing. We had no idea we were making a cult classic. We were just wanting it to get a DVD of it, give to our mums. We knew that we we had a kind of following out there after Spaced, and there were people that would like it, but we had no idea of what it would eventually become in terms of, you know, geez, the memes that were flying around during this coronavirus thing of the Winchester plan and of various other stuff. There's always a meme from Shaun of the Dead when you need it.
All right. Yeah, did you see the thing they did last week? Him and Nick Frost did a Corona version of the plan. It's on Twitter. It was brilliant. So I wanted to see if one of you wants to join me and give the film round. Might drag you in, like, if you fancy. Who should we try? Who we got? Okay, let's try. There's a very good chance that whoever I invite in might just not want to do it. So it'll be just awkwardly me left alone, talking to myself. Oh, we're connecting with somebody. Hello?
Mm-hmm. Well, this feels very weird.
Hello, how are you doing? Who's this?
I'm doing all right. I don't know. I didn't expect. I can't see my whole face.
Oh, that's all right. We can see your whole face. I've just you've been dragged into the Distracting Tactics Film Club, dude. Did you watch Shaun of the Dead this week?
Not this week, but I've seen it.
Seen it, yeah. What would you give it out of 10?
Oh, definitely 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a good film, right? What did you take away from it? What's your favourite thing? What do you think is the most sort of British thing about the film?
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember them going in the bar and walking off the window. Yeah, yeah. It's
pretty pub and bar heavy. That's quite a British habit of ours, drinking. Anyway, dude, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you later. Cheers. Take care.
Yeah.
I was doing one more guest. We're gonna have to call. Who? Let's try Charlotte. I hope. Thanks so much to Daniel for joining us. Sorry for dragging you in out of the blue. Right, who's next? Oh, it's
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
How are you? Oh, nice to see you. Do you want to introduce yourself real quickly?
I'm Charlotte. I'm currently in Yorkshire.
How is self-isolation?
London. It's okay. Because I was in New York recently, so when I came back, my parents were like, "You have to self-isolate alone." So
yeah,
I haven't spoken to anyone really.
Oh wow. Well, it's nice to speak to you over the internet, and thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining us at the film club. It's nice to get lots of people in the same place digitally. I've got to be quick because I think I've been going on for way too long. But welcome to Distraction Tactics. Thank you for helping distract people for a minute. Shaun of the Dead, did you watch it?
I did actually, yes.
Yeah, what did you think?
Because I don't really like horror movies and things like that, so I was a bit like, oh my god, when it was so gory. But I thought it was really funny. And I've seen Fuzz before, but I'd never seen the other two in the trilogy. So I actually watched World's End after watching Shaun of the Dead.
Which is your favourite from the trilogy?
I think I really enjoyed World's End, but Shaun of the Dead definitely was a great movie.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Did it make you laugh?
Yes.
Did it make you scream?
I definitely had to cover my eyes.
Yeah, no, that was it. The bit at the pub at the end when his.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot, isn't it? All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Cheers. Sorry
Thanks for having me.
But look after yourself. Stay well. And I hope
wash your hands.
Take care. Yeah, wash your hands lots. Wash them. Wash them hands. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Right. I feel like we've been doing this for ages now, and I don't want to bore you too much. I've got a couple more points from Simon. I'm just going to play you this one. Somebody messaged in the question. Somebody messaged in the question of whether, quoting the film, can dogs look up or do dogs look up? Simon gave this fucking brilliant answer. 1 second.
Can dogs look up? Right. Cookie. Willow. Yes.
I bloody love that he had multiple examples. Couldn't have asked a better person in terms of, well, you know. So thank you, Simon. All right, so just before I go, we're going to play the jingle one more time, that awful, creepy, embarrassing jingle. And Simon is going to announce what country on our world tour of films we're going to go to next week. And where is it, Simon?
Next week, you are heading to New Zealand to watch Taika Waititi's brilliant film, Hunt for the Wilder People. Gotta love a bit of Taika. Busiest man in showbiz.
Yes, we are off to New Zealand next week to watch one of my favourite films, Hunt for the Wilder People. So you guys have got a week to watch it. It is brilliant. If you've seen it, you'll know how good it is. If you've not seen it, it's amazing. It's got Taika's sort of unique sensibility. It's really funny. It's heartwarming. Anyway, I'm going to leave you alone. Thank you so, so much for joining us this week. And to play you out, here is the jingle that I made in about 5 minutes.
Distraction, tactics, film club.